What's going on, guys? Welcome. I am Matthias. This is not a gun holster, although I wish it was a gun holster, because that would be way cooler. It's a back brace, so just ignore it. Today, we're going to be going through something a bit unique. It might not pertain to everyone. It might not be interesting to everyone, but it's interesting to me. It's the Syntec website. It's the back end. It's that green and black website that y'all are familiar with. Let me show you here. If you go to syntec.net, you click this little secret center button, you click that puppy, and then you log in, you're met with this directory ID. Now, when you type in Pegasus, it takes you to basically this back end of a server in which me and the team had to find all these files that we were originally accessing on the Apple II. By the way, guys, if you're new to Behind 863, this channel breaks the spell. So if you don't want to know how the sausage is made, click away now. So as you can see right here, boom, we have, well, obviously the villain deleted the files here, so we're not going to only see them. This one's just a download. But this is the basic back end of the server, of the file hosting server. So that's what we built. And we built this for the intention of making a really, really compelling kind of like hacking scene that allows us to find clues, data, and actually allow you access to them as well. We kind of wanted to connect the story world and the real world so that you guys were able to log in, do some investigatory work yourself. And that's what this is. So I'm going to kind of go through the structure and the planning of this because it took about 1.5 months, I think, maybe 2 months from start to finish to get this project done. It was pretty wild considering that we went through all of this work just for that website, just for one video. We hopefully will come back to it occasionally here and there to see more files when they get thrown up on the server by whoever. Let me just walk you through it. There's multiple levels of this. As you can see here, it's a living serial prototype. That's basically what the story is. It's not quite an ARG, because there's not a lot of real world interaction as much, but this episode specifically is a little bit more. The use of this site is for entertainment purposes. Syntec is a fictitious organization that closed their doors years ago, but one person remains and is attempting to collect his work to resume his projects. The intent of the site for our story is to continue our story and allow the story to be interactive to our audience by using this website. Now, so this was all written naturally before we discovered that there's a phantom that works for supposedly Cyphus. There's multiple levels to this site too. Level 1 is the public side, which is on camera. The public side is not logged in. It's meant to showcase the corporation. So that's just quite literally syntec.net. That's this. Pretty much. Level 2 is the logged in side. It is meant to showcase the corporation. So logged inside on camera. So that's when we actually click this. Boom, it transitions, logs us in. Level 3 is logged inside for admin on camera. The audience only sees through the videos, but they don't have access. So if you saw, for instance, when we logged in with the Cyphus 590 account, we actually had admin access that you guys don't have access to. You've seen that on camera, but you guys didn't get access to that because there's a lot of other admin features. For instance, you can just ban users and remove users, and we didn't want that to happen. So we had to figure out a way to organically incorporate that into the story. Level 4 is logged inside for admin off camera. These features the audience should never see for themselves or on camera, but we need to have them in order to progress the story. That's honestly like the Airtable backend so that we can put in files of that nature. Let's kind of go through the initial design here. So first off, we have the logged out view on camera. I made this whole board. It's supposed to be like a really, really simplistic view of how this website should work according to like a flow. So if we jump in here and we look at the home page, you can see basic navigation links are up there. We own the future, other links here. Clicking on a specific spot will reveal the logo and also will convert the site over to this. Basic navigation links disappear, other links disappear. If the viewers find this early, attempting to log in, it will say incorrect user password. It will send them to an evil style 404 page because the server to log in is not online yet in the story. So we had to account for if you guys found the website before we were ready for you to. Luckily, you didn't, which is kind of interesting. We had the friend of someone internally leak it, And it was actually suppressed on the Reddit because we should have brought in our mods on this to actually not delete it, because we had never officially linked it in the bottom of a video, because our rule had always been if it's not linked in the description, it's not official. And so we had to, oh, wait a second, this isn't really working, is it? So we had to kind of bypass that and inform some people that no, this is legit. This is actually what we're using for the story. Here's some inspiration. Here are the colors that we're using, for instance. The logo, colors and logo, and here's just some random inspiration for kind of what I wanted it to look like. It ultimately didn't look exactly how we wanted it to look like, but that's because we ran out of style and we didn't actually have full vision for precisely. So it ended up looking a little bit too simplistic and not really old school enough. But it is what it is, and that's the way it is now. Other pages we have, for instance, is about us. Our partners, contact us, outdated dead contact info, for footer link navigation, error 404 because the server's not connected, or it's actually a different server. So then we kind of jump over to the aesthetic and color and structure for the design here of what we were looking for. So here is, as you can see, some of the inspiration that we were pulling from, of more of like a style that looked kind of old server-ish. Like almost old Microsoft or Apple DOS, right? With some added, intricacies here. Again, it wasn't fully what we were looking for because we ran out of time and we were really, really delayed, and we actually had to delay the video because this project was delayed. But we did what we could. And here's some other designs and styles that we were considering. For instance, this one I said listing out files like this instead of just listing with text. I wanted to see the actual file type displayed because I felt it was a little bit more interactive for you guys rather than just, a list of files, even though that might be more accurate. I always think personally that clarity is just a little bit more important than accuracy, which is strange, but I feel like it's true. If it's not super clear, then it doesn't matter how accurate something is, because you won't engage with it and it won't make sense. Many of you are really, really familiar with this design too, so it's not super crazy. Evil login screen, incorrect username and password, directory ID, and we had this little loading bar screen. That loading bar is entirely just coding. It doesn't actually need to load. Then we move over to the navigation. You can see crude mockup here. More crude mockups. Clicking on the file will trigger it to be shown, played, etc., etc. Clicking on the X in the top left will take them back to the directory, and then directory ID. So the original idea for this was to actually have a home. Again, didn't quite end up how we wanted it to. But after a user visits the directory and favorites a file, going home, pressing X to go back to the input directory ID page will also showcase their favorited files. Clicking on one of those files will take them to the file as it is shown in the directory. So that doesn't mean we can't update it and change it, but we have to figure out a way in story to update it and change it so it's motivated. All of a sudden in the videos, it's like got new features, even though Syntec is defunct. So got to solve that issue if we do ever plan on updating this and redesigning it. These boxes kind of showcase the different types of features here. Chat replay feature, for instance. Some of our files will be chat replays where we relive a chat as if it's happening in real time. This chat should be able to be formatted in one Airtable cell. Each new line starts with the initials of who is typing. One line plays at a time. When the user presses enter, the next line plays. We didn't actually build this feature out. It was attempted to be built, but then we had to adjust because it didn't work out as planned. We've learned a lot from developing websites internally, and as you'll be able to see in the future with other ones, we've got some new devs, we've got some new projects, and they're coming out really, really well. So we've really fine-tuned that process. For those of you not familiar, we actually built this website on Bubble.io. If you're not familiar with Bubble.io, this is not a brand deal. I wish, although I'm not sure you guys are super interested. But Bubble.io is basically a no-code solution for building websites that are relatively complex in nature, but not so complex that you actually need to know how to code. So that's what we've been using because the development time and cost is reduced significantly compared to paying just like a straight up professional dev that knows how to code. Most of the devs that use Bubble do know how to code, but this just allows them to facilitate and create the product at a much, much faster rate. Let's move on to here, audio visualizer. Again, this was the intention. I still want it. I still want to see the audio waveform and not just like download a file. And then we move over here to what documents should look like here. Just pretty generic, right? Just some text up there. Users should be able to set a username and their up to 3 initials. Users should have a home page once they favorite a file. Don't believe that actually exists right now. Yeah, so you can't actually favorite a file or anything like that. You can see I'm also logged in as admin. But now we come into the interesting part, which is actually how we decided to build out the website based on the story. So we have this little box here that's called Storylogic, and I'll run through that for you here. We're able to locally chat and see files on this file server through an old Apple II. Apple II gets destroyed, and we realize the Apple II wasn't connected to the internet. It was a local server. We turn connect server, we find, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, we turn on the connected server and we find in the walls in the internet. I don't even understand that. We log into the villain's account and realize that he has admin access. As you can see right here, we kind of bounce back out to this area, which is basic visible admin features off camera. Off camera admin features should be hidden in an off camera page or in a menu we don't click on the camera. Deactivate fake 404 page when we put the server online. You guys have seen this video, so you're tracking with me, right? We enable public user account creation. Evil login page now has account creation links so that you guys have all started to create your accounts. We create our own account. Other users will be able to create non-admin accounts to use directory IDs and favorite files. We log back into his account and we change our account's permission to admin. So we go back into here and you can see basic visible admin features. That's what it is. We deactivate the villain's account. He will still have access to directories because all users will, but he won't be able to delete the files and destroy evidence on the server. We notice a run emulation menu option in the admin portal. We upload our D3B disk file and it opens the live chat feature. This is a simple live chat that we have dedicated to chatting with a few accounts we set up for story purposes. Users do not have access to live chat. D3B is a fake file. Uploading literally any file should trigger a new feature to be available after a loading screen. So that's the basic premises of this entire thing. And you can see here's the basic premises of how on the back end of the back end, because technically speaking, this website is a back end, but really it's not. It needs a back end. And so for that, we used Airtable, and you can see the attachment or the directory, the type of file, or whether it's shown or not. When we were doing this video, shooting this video, as we were refreshing the screen, we had Chanel off in the other room, just slowly going to the status and then clicking not shown. The file would essentially disappear. And we were like, oh my gosh, someone's deleting the file. So that was pretty fun. It was cool to see us make that interactive and make that all work. I think the final video turned out really well. The last thing is you can see right here, this is just me testing what dev might look like. I did this all in Final Cut, but at the end of the day, it actually didn't function either. If we go into Syntec Home and we run emulation, you can see this is actually what it looks like. So what we had to do on shoot day is we actually had to take a video that we had earlier shot that week and put it right here, literally over the browser. And then anytime we would respond, we'd have to just respond like this and then click enter, or click send, apologies. And it would just go off into the ether, and then we'd just click play on the video again and get a response. So we ultimately had that script totally formulated so that we could just go through this whole thing, act it out, have some fun, and showcase this story for you guys. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this. If you guys enjoy or want to know other things in the 863 Season 1, let me know. What about Season 1 are you curious about? And how can we reveal some of the magic, have some fun with you? Just as a reminder, if you're interested in Season 2 behind the scenes, that is available now on Spellbound Plus with a membership. Or you can wait until Season 3 comes out, and then Season 2 will start coming out on this channel. So hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you next time.